Hello everyone, this is Blender Guppy. In this video, I'm going to test the or demo the add-on on a lightsaber model. Let's model some lightsaber. So creating flow is now at 100% port or is complete, and in a few days I will be uploading this to the creative bundle. And let's begin. So this is the default cylinder with 32 edges. I'm just gonna increase that to 64, or probably not. Okay, let's just contend with 32. Auto smooth. I'm going to, so this will be the handle, and this is the top part. Okay, I'm going to extrude this, that, and then hold this higher so I can cut it. So I'm going to cut it on the side. So facing the x-axis, that's the side. So the y-axis is the front side, and the x-axis is the side. Z is the top. And I'm going to cut this using Creative Flow. So before I pass this add-on, I might want to create a UI for the snap angle. That's right here. So example, this is at 45. I can change the snap angle to 25s. So I think this will be much better for the user if I can do it. Okay, let's cut it. Manually cut it. Delete the face. Then I'm going to add, oops, an intersect object here. Scale it down. Selecting this cylinder and the main body of the lightsaber. Go to edit mode. Use intersect faces and select union. Now we're going to bridge this or quantify this. Since they both have 32 sides, just press Ctrl T to triangulate and Alt J to quantify. So now we have that. Uh, just a bit of styling. There's some shading here, uh, shading error here, so we can get rid of that use by adding more loop cuts. Actually, we didn't, but it won't be as prevalent in the render if there's textures. If the model is already using a texture. Okay. So down here will be so this is going to be the handle. I'm going to create a part here where the inside is going to be exposed. So we're going to go crazy with random flow with that part to model the mechanical part or the inside mechanical part. Okay. So this is where the hand should be. Okay. And we're going to create the buttons here. So if you're modeling this, try and use a reference. I'm just I'm modeling this, but I modeled something like this quite some time ago, and I'm using that in my mind. But my advice to you is use a reference so you can get the primary shapes easily without being sidetracked. Okay, so I'm going to set the origin to geometry. So when I activate symmetry in the drawing, it will inherit the symmetry, the origin of the source object or the object being drawn on. Okay, active view. Okay, go to smooth as well. And then we have this part here. So we're going to strategically use the random flow. And in the next videos, I'm going to use it on miniature objects. And you can see the difference between just tactically using the add-on or just using it profusely to come out with random shapes for objects that are going to be rendered in far away distances versus objects that can be rendered closely. Okay, so we're going to expose the center. So for example, in this example, maybe the user has or the lightsaber owner has removed this part to in order to repair to get some repairs going here. Actually, can get rid of this. You can always bridge that if we made a mistake. And I'm going to wait. I'm going to create a proxy right here. Since the draw object, okay, since the when we're drawing on an object, it inherits the origin of the source object. So we're not going to use the origin of the lightsaber body. Instead, we're going to create a proxy for this part here. So cursor selected and okay. So we're going to use this instead to draw a symmetrical object here in this part. And selecting the field object, draw faces, pressing C on open space to uh, position the marker on the center of the source object or the active object. So the marker indicates the position of the how far the say uh, how far the draw object will be drawn relative to the view. Okay, let's try this. There we go. So as you can see, okay, so out to there we go. And then we're going to select all the faces and use circle array, origin, and 4. So this is just a proxy. Once we're done with this part, we can delete this cube right here. So let's just draw something here. Perfect the shape of the. So you can see it's not affecting the rest of the array. We can do that. So I've changed the array to just be simple and straight and not use any array modifier at all. And once we're done with that, we can copy the changes by selecting this, highlighting this area here, and then fast circle array, just press origin. There we go. So I want to change this part here. I'll probably do that. Yep. Let's move on. Okay, one last. Oops. Oh, it's I'm in object mode. Okay, let's just. Okay, that looks fine. So the part where you model the base mesh, I guess, is the most fun part for me because that's where the idea is that's where the that is where the ideas are mostly loose, and you can experiment on everything without getting without getting trapped by detail, and you can easily just um, undo everything because everything is still base mesh. So there's a okay, it'll still fit plus the thickness of the armor. Okay, let's see, straight. Oh my god, we have that. I forgot about the symmetry. I still need this and bridge and get rid of this. Okay. This part and this part here. Okay, so how do we solve it? Okay, we can extract it. We're going to extract it using random floss extract because you don't have to solidify. And then set origin to geometry and auto mirror Z. There we go. And then selecting this body here. Oops. Is it the same thickness? Yes. Let this and this. And this. We're going to join here, Control J, and delete the okay, let's apply the mesh. Oops. And join. Okay, now we can begin to so this is still different from this one here, but it's okay. You can do with a little symmetry in the z-axis. Add asymmetry in the z-axis. Okay, so the crystal should be here. Let's make this a crystal. And this should be a crystal. It's kind of like that. Eight and eight subdivides more. And then let's see, decimate Nope. Clouds and size is okay. Let's try 8. And here we are going to add decimate. Some pretty rough crystal. Um, that's good enough. Let's just see. Good enough for a stripe laner. 15, 30. Whoops. 15. No, collapse. Collapse is better. There we go. So I think this will we'll just settle for that for now. Okay, now we can probably I need some excuse to use the cables, but I don't know. Probably later on. Let's just create some circle here. Whoops. Draw cuts, circle. What the? Okay. We can still affect its thickness. Must have been something wrong with the array operator. It created doubles. Oh no. So for this part here, oops. Don't forget that you can also use the knife. Don't forget about the inherent commands in Blender. Just because you're using an add-on doesn't mean that they become useless. Okay, so yeah, we have that kind of effect right there. Going to uh strap this. What do you think? Strap faces. Cursor selected and set this origin to the 3D cursor. So we can establish its Z right here. Let's see, Z, and there we go. I guess it's time to um time to detail this. Let's start with the random panels. So the best thing to know about this is just to not select everything and use the random panels. Just instead use it on certain parts, certain areas at a certain time, not everything all at once. So I'm just adding more topology here. Actually, let's symmetrize this. The main body. Whoops. We can symmetrize this on the y-axis because of this part here, right here. But we can symmetrize it on the x-axis. So x-axis. There we go. And the selection is kept. And let's random panels and activate. Control middle mouse button. I'm going to increase the cuts. Subdivision level 1. And get rid of the center line. Managing the but first manage the depth and the inset. Actually, that's since the model is too big, it's probably best if I and increase the panel size. Just gonna use radial. Okay. Oops. So it could take some time trying to select the best pattern to use. But at least you don't have to model any of them. Let's try this one. You can actually delete the surfaces or the objects underneath the random panels if they won't be seen anyways. So I may have made the object a bit bigger. I should have scaled it down to rail scale, but you know, we're already here, so okay. This one here. Still gonna try the cables later on. See if it looks good on this particular model. Let's try recursive. Shortest, longest. Okay, let's this one here and this one here. Okay, now let's try these parts here. Increase the subdivision as well. You can clean after you've created the model, finish with the model. You can clean the geometries afterwards. Point 1.5. Going to copy this on 2 and 3. Let me dissolve at 10 degrees and clipping. Okay, so we're going to create choose a shape that looks like inner mechanism, which essentially is going to fool the viewer into thinking that it is inner mechanism, not just some randomized shape. Okay, so I've also in the next update of random flow, I've also fixed the inset depth seed value when not using randomized island height. So essentially, this will randomize each island, each loop instead of each face island. So this is a loop, and you can see everything is being every face island in this loop is being randomized at the same height. If I turn this on, you can see that each island has a different um height. So let's just try this for turning this off is much faster, but you get because you get more shapes doing this versus this. But for this kind of we're looking for another kind of effect, so let's just use this for now. And also inset thickness is now at point zeros are in 4 decimal values. It's what it's called. Yeah. So basically to open up those islands. Let's try 10% size. Then play with the seed values until we come up with the detail that we want. So that so in my eyes, I think this is what I want. It's perfect balance between noisy and uh, seeing the shapes has some sense to it, sort of. So it's up to you, really, to um, create that illusion or how you want those shapes to be, or for picking the final shapes. Let's try this one here. Actually, let's try this one. Going down and reestablish our island height. So we're just creating noise. Set back to 5%. If you're modeling with baking in, if you're baking planned, then you must plan ahead. So baking random panels is quite easy, but with random loop extrude, you must plan ahead for the geometry because you uh can't really retopo this. Okay, at this distance, it looks good. Let's try this one here. Increase the subdivision. Remember that the subdivision will likely freeze when there if it's too much, so be careful of that. If you're unsure, uh, Shift Q and Control click on random loop extrude. This will uh, revert loop subdivision 0 and base cuts to 0. Oops. Okay. And this part here, I'm probably going to just use the random panels since we already have too much noise and using the random loop extrude. I will save this ls01 and random panels. Let's try recursive. Radial it is. Going to isolate. Okay. Here we have our ultra detailed part there. And this part here as well. And also here. So don't mind the outliner or don't mind the topology. They can all be managed after the modeling has been done. Okay, how about we use the wire? Okay, let's do this first before the wire. It's gonna be up to you where you want to use the add-on. Or how far you want to use the add-on. If you like a number and want to see other seeds, just remember the number. Or Control C, and if you want to get back, Control V. Okay, I'm gonna use this one because it's not too noisy, but still the shapes make sense. Okay, going to use the random panels here. Wait a minute. Auto mirror to X. It's not enough geometry to. Okay, going to apply the boolean on this and probably give this a oops. Is this X? Apply this. Join this tree and micro bevel. Smooth. Okay, so we have our crystal. So let's just color this. I'm not gonna render this, but I'm gonna texture it using a pre-made material and see what it looks like. Okay, but first, vertex color. Let's try island. There we go. 0.8. This is 0.8 and this is 0.7. Okay, let's try with this one. And this one here is going to have a different material, so let's just hide it. Actually, let's color this something like dark blue. Okay, and append the material from the previously made file. Sky Fortress material, grunge. Hide this, and then assign material, grunge. Okay, let's see what it looks like. Hopefully, it looks good. It kind of looks good. It lacks color. It just lacks color because color brings out life. Actually, let's to get a better view of this. Let's whoop! Something just fell. I got startled. Okay, cursor selected. Cursor to world origin. Add an empty. Where you at, empty? and Shift GT parented. Okay. Now I'm going to add a floor and scale it. Now I'm going to make this lie on the floor. Now to give the floor some texture. Textures, this one. Whoops. Okay. Control Shift T. And 3D. Okay. It's probably too much. And that's good. Are they supposed to be tracks? 8. There we go. And adjust the light. Experiment with other lights. Let's just use this for now. Okay. So what are the colors for this? This will be blue. And this will be red. And for a crystal, new transmission. And I think in materials settings, viewport display, you have to turn on scale reflection, scale reflection, something like that. Refraction depth is 0.1 or 0. And let's change its base color to something like that. So pretty basic, but um, also the video anyway. So what's our vertex color? Actually, we can still affect this using color ramp. Oops, probably not. Our edge mask 0.01, 0.02, three, side this, and this, and re-affect the vertex color. Let's try and use darker colors. Seven. How about object? Alt H. Edge mask and simple dirt is in my Patreon, patreon.com/blendergappy. So go ahead and check that out. It's free to download. There we go. Color of dirt. Let's try color of dirt. And let's re-affect the edge mask. Noise texture 5. Go. So this okay, we need more effects like lights here, lights there, but essentially this is our exposed lightsaber. This also needs work here, so to make it more realistic. The bright colors are not really making the grunge. This needs to look older, so, but yeah, that's guess that is it for this demo, and that's how we and that is how I use random flow for such a model. So tactically or strategically. So it's up to you how to select those shapes that will finally be in your render. So my advice is to look for the shapes that uh, match up with your model or your main theme, or something that makes sense, something that offers a good amount of noise of the shape but still makes sense when it comes to the model. As you can see, when I'm changing the parameters of the random loop extrude or random panels, I'm also zooming out and zooming in, and this will be the and it's kind of like me viewing it rendered in this distance to see if the shapes to see if some of the shapes are still visible. Do I have to make the shapes more macro for that distance or bigger for that distance, for example? Or just leave it at that because I'm going to render in this distance anyway, so it's up to you. But anyway, it's non-destructive, so you can just select those results, delete it, and if you don't like it, just delete it, delete those results, and then start all over again. Okay, so it needs more work for the final render, but this is it for this video. I'm not gonna toil any longer. So I'll probably render this and post it on Twitter or on Instagram. But it's gonna be way different than um this one. Okay, so or that texture or this texture. Okay, so that is it for this video. And if you have any questions, use the comment sections below or the links in the description. Thank you for watching, and as always, have a nice day.